No homos will ever be allowed on this church as long as I'm the pastor here. Never!
Those hateful words are from the mouth of a Tempe pastor preaching that God's word says that killing gay people is the only way to get rid of AIDS by Christmas. He says all gays are pedophiles. He says the biggest hypocrite in the world is the person who believes in the death penalty for murderers but not for homosexuals. Pastor Steven Anderson has agreed to join us tonight for an exclusive one-on-one interview. Pastor Anderson, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me on.
Have you always hated gay people? Is it something your father taught you, or is it something that you came to on your own?
No, I haven't always. You know, I grew up in a Christian home, but it wasn't until I read the Bible cover to cover at age 17 that I discovered the truth of what the Bible really says, because a lot of passages don't ever get preached from the pulpit because they're simply not popular.
I have to be honest, when I heard your sermon, it sounded like the rantings of someone who was either a hate monger or a religious zealot, and I'm wondering, which are you?
Well, I'm a religious zealot, and you know, I love the Bible, I love God's word, I believe that the law of the Lord is perfect, and you know, Leviticus 20:13 clearly says, if a man also lie with mankind as he lieth with the woman, both of them have committed an abomination, they shall surely be put to death, their blood shall be upon them. And you know, as a Christian, I believe the Bible, and that's where I get my belief.
Twisting reality, guilt-tripping, flat-out threatening with eternal damnation, emotionally blackmailing its members to obey unquestioningly, conflating their own flawed beliefs on other denominations of their own faith. We are born sick and broken onto this world without valid reason, and commanded to be made perfect, to be holy as the Lord is holy, never forgetting that we are sinful beasts without the church's guidance. This is the lie that's drilled into believers' heads. When we fail to meet this impossible standard, we are given slavery disguised as salvation. We are blackmailed into surrendering our critical faculties and our free will, or we will be sentenced to a fate worse than death. We are poisoned by the same institutions that claim to have the cure to a non-existent disease, known as sin. We are told we are evil in nature and imperfect, unworthy maggots that deserves to burn in hell, and the only way we can ever hope to redeem ourselves is to submit ourselves completely and without reservation. These are the tactics the religious zealots use to police the thought and the behavior of its members while sucking them dry of their hard-earned money so they can continue to propagate their deluded, nonsensical fantasies through fear-mongering. Through circular reasoning they defend their faith and abuse of the power they have over gullible people. Power they claim is given by a supreme, all-knowing, all-powerful, benevolent being which has no testable, measurable, or quantifiable method of detection or method of acting upon reality. They blame everything negative that happens or that people do on the devil, the ultimate antagonist. To question these zealots means that you are a pawn, possessed in order to serve this diabolical tyrant. Yet, in the most ironic turn of events, the worst crime this fallen angel ever made was to try to be like God, to be his equal. This character is as fake and one-dimensional as the God he aims to best. The position of the religious right is so weak that the only way they can be right is if reality itself is wrong. But how could anyone in their right mind justify this? The answer is a simplified letter word that is often seen as a virtue, faith.
What is more likely? That the laws of nature have been suspended in your favor and in a way that you approve, or that you've made a mistake? And in each case you must, and especially if you didn't see it yourself and you're hearing it from someone who says that they did.
And why should they take offence that I don't believe in their God or any other God? And I'd say to them, you know, tell me the reasons why you don't believe in all the other gods, and that's the reason I don't believe in yours. And I've got nothing against people believing in God at all, you know. In fact, if it, you know, did make you a kinder person, if you only did good things in his name, then great, you know, but there's the rub. It's when I see some of these religious fundamentalists saying that they've told their 5-year-old children that if they turn out gay, they will burn in hell. That to me is child abuse.
Don't you sometimes feel sad about breaking all these myths apart?
No, because I think it's some myths are deserve to be broken apart out of respect for the human intellect. That no, when you're writhing on the ground and froth is coming out of your mouth, you're having an epileptic seizure. You have not been invaded by the devil. We got this one figured out.
Faith is not a virtue, it is a commodity at best, and a double-edged blade at its worst. It is auto-deceptive, meaning that it can be used to make believe whatever we want to believe. We can believe the most absurd, unjustified nonsense, and justify atrocities perpetrated against others, and even against ourselves. Those that use faith in every aspect are revered as the most moral and the closest to God. Meanwhile, those that don't believe our faith and rather question and understand their beliefs are seen as ignorant, idiotic, devil-worshipping heathens whose existence revolves solely around damning believers to the same horrible fate they don't even believe they're going to endure for all of eternity. The black and white mentality that plagues dogmatic systems of belief are the sources of cruelty and prejudice. The desire to hold on to notions and ideas with an inscrutable standard is the reason homophobia and xenophobia are still so prevalent in modern times. It is played off with the go-to response of, the Lord loves the sinner, not the sin itself. Love requires compassion, understanding, and tolerance. Religion promotes and follows these traits only towards its members, and it is enforced very passive-aggressively when religious leaders and people in places of religious power fail to maintain the impossible standard they set for their followers. Outsiders can be treated with disgust and prejudice until I feel their testimony, or in simpler terms, their reputation before God. Because that's all it boils down to. To forget who you are and what you are really worth, to accept the degrading idea that without an omnipotent and benevolent being watching over you, every waking second of your existence, you will never amount to anything in life, because that's all you are coerced to believe. This is not an attack on believers, as it is every human's right to believe whatever they want to believe. It is a warning on the nature of faith, and the very real, very tangible danger it poses to humanity as a whole. If we are to survive, we must rise above dogma. We must purge our prejudice. We must end the vicious cycle. We must inquire. We must be better.